part two of how I turned $300 into $1 million. Now, I'm going to tell you the first thing we did. We went to NTW and we bought some tires. And we resold those tires for $8, a per tire profit. And we rinsed and repeated every day for the whole week. We drove around. We found more customers. We kept making this $8 profit. So it's like roughly around about $64 for every 8. Then we bumped into a guy that wanted like 20. And then somebody wanted 30, but we were only making an $8 profit. So as you can imagine, we were happy, and we didn't know we can even make even more because we didn't have a distributor. But lo and behold, we did locate a distributor over time. We got a distributor, and next thing you know, we're making close to $20 a tire. So, and we just kept driving around, and we buying and selling to customers. Every time we seen trucks, semis, auto shops, we walked in, had a little generic business card. We gave it out to them, and we just asked them who do they get their tires from. So that was the start of Dent Tires. Now, on the back end, we was using QuickBooks to do our paperwork and our bookkeeping. That also posed a challenge because it's not really set up for automotive and trucking. It's more or less kind of just accounting. So we had to get the company together. Yeah, we had our license. Yeah, we had all that. But we were not a true full-fledged company. But we kept buying and selling tires. One distributor led to 2 distributors. The second distributor with that $20 profit, and we kept increasing our money in Bank of America. We went to On Deck, and we borrowed a large sum of money from On Deck. That large sum of money, though, came with strings attached. It was predatory lending, very expensive, but it allowed us to buy larger quantities of tires. And if you know anything about the tire business, the more you buy, the cheaper the price gets. So the more purchasing power you have, the better your cost will be on those tires, and the more you can sell it for to customers. It allowed us to go after bigger customers, larger customers that wanted more volume, that wanted discounts for volume. So when a customer would ask us, say, well, give me 50 tires, what's the best deal you can give me on 50? With that cash influx from On Deck, it allowed us to service those customers and those orders. So we kept growing and growing, but the profit still wasn't there. It wasn't until we had accumulated, I would say, maybe 6 distributors. At this point, we kept rinsing and repeating with the loans. So that was the capital infusion. Like I said, initially, $300 now. And that $300, got us started, but that's not all that you need. So I don't want to be misleading. Definitely don't want to be misleading. You have to learn how to become business savvy, money savvy, change your mindset, have grit, hustle, get out here, introduce yourself. We didn't even have, I think we was in our plain clothes. We went and got t-shirts, hats, got upgraded business cards. We had to turn this into a real business. And now we was delivering tires in Mrs. Dent's pilot at first. We talking 6 tires at a time. And her car, now you can imagine she wasn't happy about this. This only lasted for just a little bit. Then we went out and bought a van, like an $1,100 van, and we could put 19 tires in that van. So we kept driving around the city of Atlanta, on the outskirts, inskirts, you name it. We went to everybody. We went on the internet, Googling who buys tires, car tires, who buys truck tires, who buys farm tires, because our distributors, they sold everything. They sold valve stems, tires, patches. So we bought all that stuff and sold it to all our customers. Whatever they needed, we tried to beat the price. Even though we didn't make but like a $3, $5, $10 profit, it was sales on the books. It was revenue coming in. And, one thing led to another. Next thing you know, we had our first $100,000 month. So, but that was through grit, grind, prayer, learning, increasing volume. We started venturing out of state to Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, because we eventually attracted the attention of a factory. And we got that factory. We was able to buy our tires and make a $30, $40 profit, and now we're making even more money. I think 2022, we hit our first 1.5, our first 7-figure year. But keep in mind, we started 2018. It took all the way to 2022. So I don't want to make you think that it's a get-rich-quick scheme. It is not. It's hard work. 7 days a week, grinding. My wife, Mrs. Dent, great partner, phenomenal partner, great support. You got to have a great partner. You got to have a great support. Actually, Mrs. Dent's the owner. I'm the founder. So, great. We talk about everything. She's my best friend because you can't have someone working on one end and you working on another, y'all working against each other. That can't happen. I can tell you, if that happens, the company's doomed. It is definitely doomed. So we kept doing it. Here's the thing, Mrs. Dent surprised me. She was actually stacking tires with me. She was out fielding calls with me. She actually, because the way I was doing the paperwork, it was antiquated. She made the paperwork better. So, guys, that's kind of what happened. We just kept rinsing and repeating until we got our own Dent tire. But keep in mind that the $300 started us, but we had to get some influx of more capital. We had cryptocurrency money coming in that we were flipping cryptocurrency. We were flipping stocks. We were making money off Dent tires. And like I said, with Dent tires, we learned everything about tires. Of course, I had my background with Goodyear, Honda, Midas, all of that. Then I started working for a wholesale tire company. Mrs. Dent has MBA, Lean Six Sigma, Yellow Belt, Green Belt, accounting, risk management. So you got to have the bookkeeping in order because you got to learn how to keep the money and pay your taxes, but you also got to know how to sell. I'm what you call a sales expert. So with that, I have no problem walking up to anybody asking for the sale and closing the sale. I have no problem. I don't care. I will ask you for $100,000 order like it's $1. So if you don't have that grit in you and that grind in you, I would suggest don't do it because you got to have that grit. You got to be out here. You got to have some stick-to-itness. You got to change your mindset. You got to hustle every day, every single day. We have to go get it. We have mouths to feed around here. And that's how we grew Dent Tire. What you seeing on the internet, the 20,000 square foot warehouses, the forklift golf carts, that's accumulation of being so stick-to-itness, having vision. That's us working hard every day, living a minimalist lifestyle. Yeah, we seen the money in our account. We seen the six figures in our account. But what we did not do, we did not spend a dime of that personally. All we did was keep reinvesting to the company, paid ourselves a salary, but we kept it going. But guys, that's how we did it. This is part 2 of how I turned $300 into $1 million. It was not overnight. It was not quick. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme, so I do not want to mislead you, but it can happen. This is Enrique Dent, Joslyn Dent, part 2 of how we did it. Dent Tires, we are out. Peace.